New Garnier Men Acno Fight Gentle Cleanser. ये है gentle on skin, tough on pimples.
Now this is the Indian batting effort that the fans hoped for in the World Cup, that the opposition was worried about in the World Cup. It didn't come throughout. It's come on the most significant night at the Wankhede after being put into bat, where the toss result is so crucial in these knockout games in the World Cup. India have powered their way to 253 for 7, set up by Samson again, and 19 sixes with 18 fours in what was a run fest at the Wankhede in that first innings. It's over for England. It could have been so much more different for England with a couple of moments going their way. We unpack all of that quickly as we can on ESPN Cricket for Timeout, powered by Garnier Men with Anil, Kumble and Faf du Plessis. Should I start with the bowler before the batter? Because I always feel bad for bowlers on days like this, Mr. Kumble.
Yes, absolutely. I think, if you look at Jofra Archer, who we thought, could be the main bowler for England at the start for Sanju Samson. Of course, that catch drop, but otherwise, it's not easy being a bowler. I mean, 61, it's probably his worst T20 international performance.
Yes, it is.
And you can't, it's not easy, but I thought India batted really, really well.
Yeah. You have been in such situations, haven't you, Faf? At grounds like the Wankhede, when a team gets going like that, sometimes you just have to wait for it to finish.
Bowler's graveyard.
Yeah.
That's the Wankhede we know from old. When you get going there, it's impossible to stop. And it just looked like it. Every batsman that came in looked like he could beat the ball very easy over the boundaries. The bowlers had no answer. There wasn't anything in the wicket. There wasn't spinning. It wasn't stopping. Just really looked like a great surface. And that's the wicket we were asking for, isn't it, before the game. Is Let's hope it's a good wicket. And it takes India's put that extra 20, 30 runs in the tank to take the toss out of the equation.
Yeah, when we say runs on the board in the press, we mean these many runs, piles and piles of runs. Right, Samson, as a top order batter, I guess so many times you're told, don't waste form.
100%. And that's when, as an opening batter or a top three batter, it's really important to cash in on the wave, the purple wave, the run patch, whatever you want to call it, form, is you make your contributions big. Because the worst thing you can do as a batter in form like that is lose of concentration and get a nice 20, a sexy 20, and you don't make an impactful innings where you can change the course of the win of the loss versus a team. And he's done that again, back to back, putting it on for in Team India. Unbelievable knock.
69 of 27 against pace, and primarily responsible for taking Jofra Archer down. Jofra Archer was his nemesis, high pace, which was one of Samson's weaknesses. How pleasing is it to see him take him down, and what do you think was the reason that he managed to win that matchup today, or that battle?
No, I think the lengths that he bowled, we spoke about it. Faf mentioned saying it needs to be here by the nose, and except for one ball which he did, the line was wrong, and then he picked it up nicely because the fine leg was up, and then he picked it up for a six. But what was really good about Samson was he was looking to hit straight again. And then anything short, he was then going, rather than thinking probably early on, when you spoke about Jofra Archer versus Samson,
yes,
maybe he was thinking short ball, I'm going to pull. But whereas here he was saying, I'll play with the merit of the ball, and that's how he exactly countered Jofra Archer because of the form that he is in. You could see the bat swing coming straight, even when he was hitting him. When he hit Overton, I think the first ball that he bowled hit him straight past over his head for a six, flat six. And I think, those kind of shots then tell you that the batter is looking to take you on straight. Anything short, yes, it had to be here. If it is here, then it's going.
So interesting on the psyche around that is because we often speak about this when you analyze a game post-match and you go, if our plan was to attack him through here, we bowled one delivery there, the whole innings, and it was mis-executed down leg.
Line was wrong.
It was wrong. So it wasn't the wrong plan. It was just execution was wrong down leg. That happens. That happens to all bowlers. But if this is your plan to get it through here, and you only try that once in his 89, 87 runs, obviously everyone doesn't have the pace, but even someone like Overton has got a sharp bouncer. Curran has got a good bouncer. So the fact that there was a lot of balls through here, for me, is like you've bowled into his strength. His two strengths is through here, and then you autocorrect and you come a little bit fuller, and he pumps you down the ground.
Have you ever sort of experienced that you might have some plans, But when the opposition goes at 12s, the ball's flying, semi-final, that you just forget.
Well,
Move
forget
away from your plans.
You move away because that's what pressure does. You're right. It clouds your thinking. So ideally, and it's very easy to sit here and say that, but ideally there what has happened is this is still the plan. Remember, this is still plan A. We're still trying to, if he hits us for 6 of what we spoke about tactically, that's fine. But what happens is the game moves so in fast forward mode that you get into a position where you just want to bowl again, bowl again, bowl again.
And India's 6 hitting was relentless, wasn't it, Anil? Samson did his bit to perfection. He's striking it still 212. But Kishan at over 200. Dubey coming in at the time that he did to take down in many ways Adil Rashid. Even Surya, Hardik, Tilak, combination of those. No one really got stuck.
No, this was, I think, an ideal sort of bat first kind of an innings where you're coming there, looking at the surface, looking at how the batter before you has sort of put pressure on the bowling attack. So as soon as you walk in, then you know that you need to take the bowlers on and keep the momentum going. And I thought it was a perfect kind of an innings that India played, especially when you bat first. You know, when you're chasing, it's different, especially bat first. And just to add to that point of possibly the skipper not sort of not reminding the bowlers. I know it's tough in a game like this. Probably he was thinking, oh God, 15, I dropped him. He's batting on 60 now and he's smashing us. Maybe he's thinking of that.
He is a young captain. He's a young cricketer. And to think that after every boundary, you read body language of the toss, it was very different body language for every Samson boundary in particular on the face of Harry Brook.
Look, that's any cricketer's worst nightmare. No one wants to drop catches, and we have all been there. But when you drop someone, and pretty much 99% of the time, the next ball goes for a 6. And I think the next ball or the ball after that disappeared for over 6. And then you go, oh my goodness, please get out, because you're counting the runs that you are costing your team with that drop chance.
And much like the Chinnaswamy or the Chepak, really the Wankhede can close in on you in exactly those moments when you're the visiting captain or the visiting fielder. We saw Miss Fields from England, who otherwise have been a pretty polished fielding side. There's a lot more I want to cover. Dubey's innings, I'm sure we'll have time for that post-match. Will Jacks bowling to Pandya in the last over. As it turns out, we wouldn't mind 13, I think it was, that he got of the last over, but have India outbatted England? Anil Kumble.
Yes, to an extent, yes. You can't take it lightly because at the Wankhede, if 2 batters get going, it's not easy to stop. But I think in a semi-final, 255 to get, it's not going to be easy. And India is not going to, especially just with Bumrah, being in your team, not going to be easy.
England will take inspiration that the highest successful chase at the Wankhede Stadium was in the World Cup, was by England. It was against Faf du Plessis, South Africa, when Joe Root smashed it and they went.
Thank you for reminding me. Thank you. It was such a great day that I actually walked off, and we never do this, right? You never walked off and you go, I think that's enough.
Yeah.
And I walked off and I was like, I think we've got enough. And it was not near enough. So it's a terrible place. It's a good, like we're seeing, this is a great pitch.
Yes.
And it's a strong batting lineup. I would second Anil's point that the point of difference is they have Bumrah, and Bumrah rarely goes for 60.
So your best possible chance here, if you recall even that game, if it's to look at as a template, I think Jason Roy got quick fire 40 or 15. And then Joe Root played that 84 or 40, he anchored it through. You need one of probably Salt to get you to say 60, 70 in the first 5, 6 in the power play.
Top 3, we say top 4. One of your top 4 bats through and gets you 80 or 50 balls, which is the normal template these days for when you get 80. So one of the top 4 do that. And then you need those innings of injection, Hardik Pandya, 40 of 18. Once again, they have a lot of those guys in that team that can do it. But it's a semi-final and there's a lot of pressure.
This is a luxury position for a bowling captain. Jasprit Bumrah, now that you've got this, do you use him aggressively, 2 or 3 even up front, try and make sure that this game doesn't even slightly go towards England?
No, the first 6 overs are going to be important. Yes, it's a long game, even because you have 255. It's not just the 6 overs, but if you can knock England off in the first 6, it's very difficult to come back from there. So if you can knock England with 2 wickets or 3 wickets and not give them too many runs in that 6 overs, then it's going to be very difficult to come back with 16, 17 runs and over.
You'd commit to your 5 bowlers here because you've got so many runs. Not worry about that Dubai over or
Yeah.
things like that.
Yes, yes, you need to. You need to do that.
All right, players are out there, and the second semi-final is staggeringly on a win probability on ESPN Cricket Info towards India, 96%. But 96-4, funny things have happened. Anyone going for the highly improbable but not impossible?
It feels like no. Like Bish would say, win the toss, win the game. I feel like Bish, for the first time, you are under pressure.
He is indeed. Predictions, gentlemen. Faf.
No.
Yeah, I think it's just a bit too much runs. No, I
Yeah.
think
Comfortable win for India? 30, 40
I think they're going to
plus?
go hard and they're going to lose a lot of wickets, but it's
Yeah.
still a good wicket, so I'm going to go 175.
All right, 175. That's a big win for India.
Yeah, I think so,
Anil?
around that, because it needs a finale kind of an inning at the start.
Which curiously tends to happen more when you're
possible.
chasing 160. you
It's
get 100.
possible, it's possible, but then
Yeah.
someone like that needs to, someone
Yeah.
from the English batters will have to battle that.
Well, if Josh Buttler was wondering how he wants to approach this in a terrible personal World Cup for him, no point of dropping things now. They just need to get the job done, England, or just go all out. But India well and truly on top. Anil, Kumble, Plessis, thank you very much. We'll have a more detailed chat where we'll appreciate Sanju Samson's innings, Shivam Dube's innings, the tactical calls from England, the choice of bowling, and what looks like very much India's semi-final, but it's not done yet. England bat deep. England have a lot of power. So let's see if India can finish the job which they've started so well. Join us for our post-match show on ESPN Cricket Info Timeout, powered by Guyana.
New Guyana Men Acnophyte Gentle Cleanser. ये है gentle on skin, tough on pimples.